We are back. Yes, this is another episode of the Jasmine Star Show. I'm your host, a photographer, a podcaster. Obviously, I'm a business strategist, and my favorite title is CEO of Social Curator. Actually, side note, my favorite title is Mother. My second favorite title is CEO of Social Curator, and I am coming at you live from my closet in Newport Beach, California. If you're new here, it's very common knowledge that I record these podcasts in a closet because, like I just mentioned, my favorite title of Mother, it relegates me to closets where I am working, aka kind of sort of hiding from my daughter, who I love, but we not so casually call her a tumbleweed because everywhere she goes, it's just a mess of her awesomeness. Okay, so resuming back our conversation that's very professional and sounding epic because I'm surrounded by a pile of clothes. In today's episode, it's near and dear to my heart because it's something I get to love because it's something I love to do. It is a recent coaching session I had with some of the lucky winners from a recent podcast review I hosted. It was a contest and we had so much fun. They were invited to a private Zoom call where they can ask just one business question. And I have to tell you, they came prepared and these questions were juicy. I know you're going to love this coaching session because no matter what your business is, everyone can take these tips and apply them to your business. So without further ado, let's get to the show.
Hi, I am Sonica Guadara, and I am a personal fashion stylist, and I help women feel and stylish and look beautiful and feel confident through coaching and through helping them, style them.
I love that. How can I be of service today? Now I feel very self-conscious about my outfit, but okay.
No, I love it. And you know what's crazy? Like I'm wearing florals and you're wearing polka dots, and supposedly the rule of thumb on Zoom is like you should be like, one neutral color, but hey, I'm a stylist, so I gotta go for it.
Who makes the rules on Zoom? That's what I want to know. Who makes the rules on Zoom?
I don't know. I have no idea. If it looks good, see, that's my whole premise. If you feel good in it, then rock it. It doesn't matter because that confidence exudes. Do you see that smile on your face?
Yes, and amen. I love this. Sonica, how can I be of service?
Well, I also want to say I am so grateful to be here because I've been following you for many years and you've gone into my DMs and, this is like a dream come true. Y tú eres latina, y yo soy también. So I'm so grateful
girl,
for that.
Turn up with your blonde hair. I was like, wait, where is this coming from? I'm like, do I hear? We are rolling some R's up in here. I love it. Yes. I love it. I love it.
So my question is, I do a lot on Instagram. That's definitely my professional page as a stylist, but the new wave that I've been seeing for the last couple of years is going through Facebook. A lot of, I've done mastermind groups, and everything is a lot through Facebook. And I guess I somewhat have an imposter syndrome because to me, Facebook has always been a personal thing where I share my family, my husband, my children, and I've interjected business, but sometimes I feel like maybe am I coming across too pushy with my wins and cocky because I've kind of, I'm not just now my personal friends, it's kind of like grown to other people that I've met. And I feel that my ideal client avatar may be on Facebook because it seems like my niche is for women in their 40s. And, they seem to concentrate more on Facebook than they do on Instagram.
So you have two, from my perspective, like what quickly comes up for me is like two options. If you really genuinely think that the content you're creating for Facebook would push somebody the wrong way or be pushy, you can absolutely create a Facebook page that way.
Yes. And I have, but this is the thing. I have like a business page, I guess, my own page. But it's not like everybody's on that page.
Of course.
It's hard to get those people to cross over. That's what I was
leading you to. I'm trying to ease you into you coming to the understanding that you have a different option and you're choosing not to because it's not as effective, to which I would say, I agree. But then you just simply need to make the decision that if you decide to use your Facebook page, because that's where most of your connections are and people know, like, and trust you, and they see your partner, they see your children, they see what you do, they see what you wear. That's just like facts, like, right? We're like, ooh, what is she wearing?
Yeah.
You don't even have to sell to me as much as I need to see, like, are you put together? Because if you're put together, then I trust you. And if you think that's efficacious and you think it's efficient and you think it's working on Facebook, well, then girl, make the decision. I don't care what somebody else thinks.
Okay. Yeah, because
and you're going to hear it from family, though. You're going to hear it from people who love you, and they're going to say, you know, Sonica, it feels like you're really talking a lot about your business. Right. And then you're going to feel embarrassed, and then you're going to feel shook, and then you're going to get upset because you feel like you're misunderstood, and then you're going to think, how many other people think about this? And guess what? You don't have time for that.
Right.
You don't have time for their opinions. And here's the thing. They love you and they think they're trying to help you. But without having your ambitions or your goal or your understanding, they cannot help you because they cannot possibly understand what it is that you're trying to do. So this isn't a business question as much as it is, I'm going to make a decision and this is my philosophy and I stick by it. And if you don't like what I'm posting, you can unfriend me. You can mute me. You could stop looking at my posts. That's just it. That's just it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No, thank you. I mean, like, I just needed, I guess, like that boost of confidence because, I mean, I'm not going to stop doing, I mean, everybody loves my Instagram. So, I mean, that's really great. It's just, you know, I want to like, I'm actually doing the DCA program with Amy Porterfield right now. And I want to launch something coming early new year. So, you know, I want to like try to build up, you know, my email list and so forth. And that's why I want to like attack Facebook.
So, you know what you need to do. And now, a loving kick in the pants, make the decision, and whatever you decide, don't look back.
Okay.
Go.
All right.
I appreciate How can people find you and all of your amazing styling online?
So you can find me on Instagram at Styled by Sonica, Soneca.
I appreciate you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Gracias. And nice meeting all these lovely women. I'm really so honored and grateful. Thank you.
My name is Lizzie Seberg. I'm a launch content coach for coaches and course creators. I help them to build systems to help power their launch and make them a lot more simple to implement and a lot more scalable over time.
Very cool.
So my question is really kind of how do you continue to show up, serve, and sell even on days when you're feeling that like nagging questioning of like, am I good enough? Am I worthy enough? Like, can I really do this?
The question is, how do we show up when days aren't as we expect?
Yeah, just like when self-doubt's kind of knocking you off your...
You know, the crazy thing is, Lizzie, is I would venture to say that the majority of us, myself included, struggle with that daily. And I think that if I look at this call and I see how many people are on video, people are nodding. And so what I think, Lizzie, it's less about how do we move on when times are tough. I would freaking want to have the conversation is how do we talk about this so that it's out in the open and realize that this is normal, that waking up and getting punched in the gut is normal, that waking up and being filled with doubt is normal, that questioning yourself or regretting a decision or second guessing the rate at which you're growing is normal. And so what we do is we look on the 1%, the 0.01%, and then we compare it to our 100% of ourselves. And we look at other people and then we say, but them and but that and but they can. And I think to myself, that's the false narrative. That doesn't exist. So if we, thank you, Lizzie, can start having a freaking conversation about what it means that this is normal. If we normalize what it is to run a small business, then we have different conversations around normalizing the conversation about what we should do. So number one, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that is normal. You are not abnormal. This is normal. And when we could sit around other people who are just as crazy as we are, that we wake up and we volunteer to get kicked in the gut every single day, and you're just like, thank you, sir, can I have another? We do this to ourselves. So if we acknowledge that, number one, it's normal. Number two, we do it to ourselves. Then the only other thing that I am left to do is to make a decision. And that decision is, am I going to show up or am I going to cower? That's the only decision you can make every single day, Lizzie. Because the days of you not feeling good enough or you talking yourself off a ledge or you telling yourself it will never work, that's normal. So when you say this is normal, other people go through it. Then you have the decision and you stay in power. Does Lizzie want to push forward? And if you don't, no problem.
Good for you. You made a decision. You're empowered. You then get to have a clear mind and say, maybe I work full time for somebody else who needs a launch manager. Or maybe I become a full-time content creator. Maybe I work at a marketing company. Maybe I showcase skills that other people need that they don't know they need until I create content in that way. I don't know what that answer is. But if you say, yes, I am going to show up today despite how I feel, then buck up, Buttercup. Join the rest of us as we do things that we don't want to do to get the results that we all really want. And I know that's a little bit of tough love. And I wish I can crawl through the internet and I just want to hug you. And I want to say that you're not alone, that you are enough, that this is normal. But baby girl, you got to make a decision. You got to make a decision today and you got to make it tomorrow. And every day you decide to be in business, that decision is, do I show up regardless of how I feel to get what I want? And if the answer is yes, then let's go.
It's funny you say that because like I've thought about being more transparent about like the way that like I struggle sometimes with it and like showing up and trying to normalize that. And I get in my own way. Like I sort of decide like, oh, I shouldn't do that. So it's like funny that you mentioned like normalizing that because I feel like that might actually be a way for me to show up like even more authentically.
I agree. Remember, on the inside of Social Curator, we do deploy the stranger on the airplane rule. Mm-hmm. I only want you to share what you would share sitting next to a stranger. I am okay telling a stranger that starting a business is really hard and ain't for the faint of heart. I am not going to tell a stranger on the airplane the inner workings of the business and what really going on. Like I'm just not. So I would say be you, be 100, share your journey, but don't overshare because you still want to solicit and build trust with people. But if we normalize the conversation of, now here's the thing, normalize the conversation of what they're feeling, not you. As a course creator, they're feeling X, Y, and Z. You speak to that and make them feel super understood. And then you offer helpful tips without anything in return. And then all of a sudden, when they realize I can't do it, Lizzie has shared everything and I still can't do it on my own. I really trust Lizzie. I'm going to reach out to her. I would also highly encourage you to get really involved with course creator groups. Like I am talking about, get involved with Amy Porterfield's free groups, Kajabi, Thinkific, any platform that empowers a free group. Get in there, give. Watch your DMs, watch your PMs. People will start coming to you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Lizzie, how can people find you and your launching amazingness?
So I just launched a podcast this week, actually, called Launching with Heart. So that's available on iTunes, Spotify, all the podcast platforms. And on social media, I'm at Lizzie, LIZZIE.Seaburg, SEABURG.
Thank you, Lizzie. I appreciate you, doll.
Thank you so much.
I am Paula Peterson. I'm a happiness coach. I help tired and discouraged entrepreneurs look up from their hustle, reclaim their happiness, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated so they can accelerate their goal of creating a life and a business of their dreams.
How beautiful. I'm happy you're here. How can I be of service?
Thank you. My question is, I'm creating a course on happiness. How important is it for me to drill down to a specific ICA when I already have established a community and a following from the general public? I've had I've had an essential oil business for over 11 years now. So I have a really wonderful community and of course everybody needs happiness, but I'm also an entrepreneur that has struggled with the overwhelm and has struggled with all the things and losing my happiness in the process. And so I feel I have so much to offer that tired, overwhelmed, and discouraged entrepreneur. So I just actually recently created a handbook as my first free lead magnet, so to speak. And so I think I can help the entrepreneur through that handbook. Okay. And then I'm going to be creating the course.
Paula, I have zero doubt that you can help any entrepreneur. And I have zero doubt that you can help every entrepreneur. And how about that? How about we set that as your big, hairy, lofty goal, right? That's an audacious goal of helping every entrepreneur find happiness. But before you get there, I don't know how many times or how important I would get on my knees. I am not too proud to beg and say, you must pretty please pick one person. Because what happens is when you make an offer to everybody, you serve nobody. There are just too many differentials of where people find happiness. There are too many differentials on what people measure as happiness. There are too many differentials between how genders, how races, how ages find happiness. Now, you're sitting here saying, no, that's not true, Jasmine. And I have a whole program to do that. Right. But the way that you build trust is to speak to a very, very, very small group. And from there, build concentric circles thereafter. Now, I know that what might come up for you is like, I'm going to do all this work and just a few people, if any, are going to buy this course because it's so specific. And I am telling you with 99.9% confidence that you will sell more to a smaller group of people than trying to sell a lot to a lot of different people. Here's why. Everybody is selling something on the internet. And you increase the likelihood of a transaction when somebody feels it's tailor-made for them. And so if we're saying, entrepreneurs, I know you're tired and overwhelmed. Here's my course. Here's my coaching. Here's my freebie. Cool. Fine. But if what you say is, are you a woman in her 40s with children who has had a direct sales business and experience, but you left it and you feel tired and overwhelmed and you want to get back into the entrepreneur game, but you are totally tired, frustrated, and worried that you're going to waste your time there? We're having an entirely different conversation. And that, when you serve that target audience and you serve them well, what happens is they must tell other people who may or may not be in your demographic. And that is how you build scale, not flash in the pan, quick results. So I would caution you heavily that even though you have a massive community, you have something that's wildly valuable. People who trust you. But people who trust you are different from people who would buy a course from you, specifically if that course is over 3 digits. So if then that becomes the case, use your community to help support your mission, but who you're selling to, at least for this go around in the course, is going to be to a very specific person.
That's very helpful. Thank you. So I was even thinking that drilling down to my ideals for my ICA was actually the tired, overwhelmed, discouraged entrepreneur. So it should be even more specific than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you are going to attract other people who fall within that kind of like nebulous of that. But when you speak to a pressure point that you know with certainty you can over deliver, those are going to be not just your fans, they're going to be evangelists, people who tell other people about the transformation you caused in them.
That totally makes sense to me, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. How can people find you and A Path to Happiness out on Instagram? You can find me at paulapeterson.com. And I have a Facebook group, a free Facebook group called The Happiness CEO. And I'm also Paula Peterson, the Happiness Entrepreneur on Facebook as well. I haven't gotten too much on Instagram yet. I am on there, but I'd rather have you find me on Facebook. Then good for you to guide people where you want them to go. I appreciate you, Paula. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lauren Linton, and I am a yoga instructor and a new college grad this year. And throughout my time, both in college and as a new adult, I have found myself in leadership positions where I am able to inspire and support and teach others both the physical practice of yoga, as well as inspire and empower them to live their best life full of confidence and feel supported and connected to themselves. So I have created a 5-week program, as well as have one private yoga client at the moment, but I am working to create a business that allows people to connect with themselves deeper in order to connect with their body and other people. So my question is, how do I turn what I naturally do in inspiring and supporting and teaching others into a lucrative business that supports me as an individual? I've found myself offering my love and support and feedback to so many people for so long that it feels wrong to ask for money for it. I have practiced this and really worked on my ideology around money, but it still feels hard because I want to spend that time pouring into people. So it's just hard to ask for money for it.
I actually don't think that this is a money conversation, nor do I think it's like a financial conversation. I think it's just you having the courage to make a decision. And the decision simply falls along the line of, am I going to create a business that sustains me? And if the answer to that is yes, then the only decisions thereafter is to make decisions according to that desire. I want to make this a business that sustains me. So then if somebody came to you and asked for a free lesson, free advice, free love, you then say, I am okay and fully cognizant to do this for free. Or you make the decision to say, that's exactly what I do in my program, in my teaching, in my classes. I would love to see you there. That's it. If you make a decision to say, I have the background and the resources and the wherewithal to make money doing what I love, then your only objective is to get them there. Every day, Lauren, people say, Jasmine, can you look at my Instagram profile? Every day, people say, Jasmine, can I do coaching? Every day, people say, can I pick your brain? Every day, people say, can I buy you a cup of coffee? And I would think to myself that the advice that I give is more than $4.17. And the hour that I would spend to sit at a coffee shop, never mind the 30 minutes together and the 30 minutes back. But sure, $4.17 is what you place on this. So, Lauren, if somebody is asking you for advice or for love, you make the decision and say, this is where I do it. I will now make money from it. Now, if you make that decision, and when you make that decision, and when you have the courage to say that to somebody, you might not be able to say that to somebody who has previously got what you have given for free. There's a really good chance that anybody you ever gave a free lesson to, a free meditation to, a free conversation, anybody that got what you want to give now for money that you gave to them for free, there's a really good chance they're not going to pay you. But don't get offended by that. They got what they put value on. Now, I'm going to tell you, Lauren, that the minute that you decide to charge for what it is, the person who's on the other end of the practice, of the meditation, of the life change, they're beholden to you. They're just like, wow, this is the person who is wearing a free t-shirt that they got at a truck rally, that they don't care if they got stains, versus the person who's wearing a cashmere sweater who they went out and bought for. They value things differently. So the minute that somebody's going to put value on your time and what it is you do, thumbs up to that. Now your next big objective is, after you made that courageous decision, Lauren needs to have a very streamlined approach to how you're going to get people to pay attention to you. And it will happen, yes, on social media. It will also happen at free events. It will happen you taking a job as an instructor at a yoga studio, to which you respond, no, that's not what I want to do. But I'm saying, yes, that's how you get exposure to people to build long-term trust, who will then pay you a premium to work with you. I say this as a yogi. I say this as a practitioner. I say this to people who I've spent thousands of dollars to go to a yoga retreat, and I would never have invested had I not attended one of their classes. So, Lauren, where do we feel? Where are we landing right now?
I really resonated with what Lizzie shared earlier about self-doubt and getting in my own way. And it feels good to know that it's simply separating the two, that I can say to somebody that's asking for advice, this is what I offer in my 5-week course. This is what I do in my one-on-one coaching sessions. This is how I pour into people, because I've become very cognizant to how I pour myself out into people. And when there's no exchange back, that leaves me high and dry, empty. So it is a decision. And I really appreciate that. A lot of what you've shared in the past about taking action, and that comes before clarity, has really pushed me to take steps in the right direction of that really, really important decision.
Lauren, thank you so much. How can people find you online?
My Instagram is Yogatopia, just as it sounds, and there will be a new online 5-week course beginning with the new year in January.
That's amazing. Lauren, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine.
So my name is Ravia Nunez. I'm from Ontario, Canada. I used to be a makeup artist, beauty influencer. I'm transitioning now to an online-based, product-based business. I recently purchased the issue 19 to help launch my business very soon. So that's exciting. But my question...
we have to fill in the gaps. We have to fill in the gaps.
Okay.
Say issue 19. For people who are listening and not on the inside of Social Curator, we have numerically categorized our offerings. And issue 19, man, it's kind of like Hall of Famer. Issue 19 is like launching, like preparing for your launch. Like this is a 4-week way to prepare your audience to sell this thing. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page. Go on, Queen.
Okay. So my question pretty much is, my confidence has been shaken up the last year. So what can I say and do daily to help boost my confidence, eliminate failure, I guess, from not being successful in the makeup business? So yeah, pretty much, how can I go back on social and be that confident self? It's a tough one.
No, it's actually not.
Okay.
It's like how much can I lean in? Because what I want to do, so 50% of me is holy and 50% of me is hood. And so sometimes I get a little too hood and it pushes people the wrong way. Like we've experienced that. It's like,
no, give it to me. Hood, holy, all of it.
I just want to shake you and say, I've never met a single successful person who has never experienced massive amounts of failure. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the people who I see fail. And I'm like, how are they going to freaking recover? And then they do, because it's the people who fail who learn the most on the way down. I will stand in front of you with two arms up to be like, our most epic, glorious failures have been the things that teach me the freaking most. I am stronger. I am smarter. I am better after having fallen on my face. Do I ever want to do it again? No. Do I know it's going to happen? Yes. Because that's what running a business does. Running a business is not signing up for a life of perfection and never making a mistake. And everything that you went through with whatever you did in your past life, makeup, hair, clothes, riding a bike, brushing your teeth, whatever, all of those things brought you to this point and are teaching you what you need to do at the next inflection. And guess what, Rabia? I hate to break it to you. This isn't your final act. You got multiple acts left in you. So are you going to look at this act wherever you end up in 2, 3, 10 years and say, oh, well, that was a waste of time? Of course not. All of those things are preparing you to what you want and ultimately where you want to go. So if you want to show up confidently, then you just need to make the decision to say, I am showing up confidently, even on the days that I don't feel like it. And I want to be very, very, very honest with this podcast community. I show up on social media and on most days I feel like, crap, man, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like days where I'm teaching people business strategies and I'm on the back end wondering, but what about this thing that we're doing and how then does this work? God forbid I ever come out like a freaking guru who knows what the heck I'm talking about 100% of the time. I will say the content I create, I stand by that because that's something I've been through, right? I feel confident. Yeah. I don't want to show up and like teach BS. It's what I do. It's what I practice. But I'm doing new things and new iterations that I'm making mistakes on. But guess what, Rabia? When I come back after this, when I figure out what the heck that we've done and how we're figuring this out, I'm going to teach content about that too. And do you think I'm going to be any less or more confident in 10 years? Probably the still same confident / unconfident, because I'm always wanting to push myself. You're going to continue to push yourself. You're going to continue to learn. You're going to continue to look fly with all of your good makeup, and people are going to be like, oh, she used to talk about this and now she talks about this, and you're going to transition with them. And so people are going to have opinions and they're going to say, oh, she's on to the next thing. That's right. That's the world we live in.
That's the scary part. Like she did that, she failed, and now she's doing this.
How do they know you failed?
I think it's in my head. That's the narrative.
I'm certain it's in your head. I'm certain it's in your head. The fact of the matter is we pay more attention to ourselves than anybody else does. Yeah. We are on people's mind about 0.5 seconds of any given week. And so here we are stewing around these imaginary thoughts that people are having. When Rabia, it takes just as much energy for you to think that they looked at you and say, oh, she's a failure. Be like, dang, she's on to the next thing. Look at her go. Let me clap that queen up. It takes just as much energy. So where do you want to focus your energy? And furthermore, if they are going to have an opinion about you, just make sure they're still talking about you. The minute people start talking about you, that's when you should be worried.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little bit more hood. I think I'm like verging on 67% hood right about now.
I love it. I needed it.
Shake you. I just want to shake you.
I needed a tough love.
One small, short flicker of a flame life. So why would we spend 3 months or 3 years worried about what somebody else is saying about us? My whole life, the vast majority, all I did was care. I cared. And then the minute I stopped to say, you know what? Caring has done nothing for me.
Nothing.
And the minute I stopped caring was the minute I started freaking thriving. And the minute I started attracting other people, the minute I started shining, when I was just like, I'm broken, I'm perforated, I don't know what I'm doing. I still continue to get up and I still continue to operate. And where you saw me 10 years ago is so different than where you saw me today. And that's not stopping me. So, hey,
that's right.
How about you just play that on repeat every morning? Just play that on repeat. Just wake up and do that dang thing.
Positive affirmation. Yes.
But positive affirmation don't mean jack squat if no action is being taken. So
agree.
I'm glad I made you feel good. Now
I
you wanna
agree.
Do good. That's what I'm
Do it.
asking you to do. Okay.
Do the dang thing.
That's
Yes.
right. So where do people find you on social? How can they connect with you and how can they just root you along the journey?
So on Instagram and TikTok, it's just Rabia Nunez. And then soon I'm launching my products, which is going to be Shop Rabia Nunez on Instagram.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good
Thank
for
you.
you. Good for
Thank you.
Okay. If I were a judge on Dancing with the Stars, I would have given these questions like a solid 10. You know, I would have been that judge, the judge who just held up that white card with black numbers, and I would be like, double digits right here. I loved getting to know these business owners, and I really hope you did too. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, the business owners coached in this episode were selected after leaving a review for the Jasmine Star Show on iTunes. Now, even though the contest is over, it doesn't mean that I'm not always so incredibly grateful for the reviews that we get. So if you left a review, thank you. I appreciate it. And I just want to remind you that I wouldn't ask for something without giving something in return. You can absolutely still head to jasminestar.com/review contest, and you can grab my hashtag strategy guide as a thank you gift. And this is a done for you guide on how to determine 30 hashtags for your own business to use when posting on Instagram. So there you have it. You could still leave an iTunes review for the Jasmine Star Show. And I can't wait to thank you with my hashtag strategy guide on jasminestar.com/review contest. I appreciate it, friends. Have a good one.